Assalamualaikum everyone. We from Group 5 had reviewed a news from YouTube entitled Abuse of Trade Union Funds Under Spotlight that had been posted by ABC News, a YouTube channel that reported news in South Africa. In South Africa, trade unions are under the provision of Labour Relations Act 1995 and have been administered by the Registrar of Trade Unions of the Department of Labour. However, in Malaysia, the central role in the growth of trade union movement is the Trade Union Act 1959. It was placed under the responsibility of the Department of Trade Union and have been administered by the Director General of Trade Union.
In terms of the Labour Relations Act, all trade unions must be registered with the Department of Labour before they are allowed to operate in the country. Once registered, trade unions rely on fees they collect from their members every month to fund their operations. Now, the Department of Labour's Registrar of Trade Unions says his office comes across many cases of abuse of funds by union leaders, which he finds disturbing.
We're not happy, and we had on numerous occasions in the media directly to those particular unions that are affected raise the issue of our unhappiness with how the funds of unions are being used.
The Federation itself has been forced to postpone some of its provincial congresses because of the lockdown regulations. At the same time, we are trying to adjust. For an example, next month the Federation will have a mini congress, which is a central committee, where we will proceed to convene the meeting virtually, of course, to avoid the event becoming a super spreader.
Thank you to the previous presenter. My name is NASHATUL and I will continue with the presentation. As we mentioned from the YouTube video, the issue is that there were many trade unions leaders had misused the fund that was supposedly being spent for the stated purpose only. As compared to Malaysia trade unions, there is section that stated on the things that the fund can be used, which is Section 50 of Trade Union Act 1959. This can be the guidelines for the members of trade unions to know more regarding things that they can do from the fund. By having act that stated regarding the matter of trade unions, funds and accounts matter, DGTU can monitor and make sure that the trade unions adhere to the stated act. Aside from that, they must have an act that stated the matter in which the fund is prohibited to be used. For example, in Malaysia, there is Section 52 that strictly prevents unions from utilizing their fund for political reasons, including donating to political parties. This is so that the trade union can focus more on the welfare of its member rather than involving themselves in political matters. Different from the case of this video, trade union in Malaysia control this issue from happening by giving DGTU the power to restrict the fund from further being misused. Section 54 Clause 1 states that he can give order to any of the bank in Malaysia not to allow any money or check to be drawn by the trade union involved for a specified period not exceeding 6 months if he is satisfied that misuse of trade union fund had occurred. This shows how DGTU plays a huge part and responsibilities to make sure that the trade unions fund are not being used for the purpose not related to the act.
Hi, I'm Sharifah and thank you to the previous presenter. I will review this case by applying Section 55 for Trade Unions Act 1959 that stated the power for the Director General to ensure the treasurer of a registered trade union must submit audited accounts. The treasurer's particular responsibilities will vary depending on the scope and the complexity of the organization. As a result, annual accounts prepared more than 3 months after the end of the fiscal year, as well as audit reports issued as of that date, can only be considered historical data, not ideal for making other decisions in today's market and society where speed and punctuality of information are paramount, and that is why the laborers are pressed because of the delay in the salary payment.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm NAIM SYAHMI and I will continue our next part. Based on the video has spoken about trade unions by law are supposed to submit audited membership figures and financial statements to the Department Labor's Registrar of Trade Unions. This relates under Section 56, Subsection 1, Malaysian Director General of Trade Union, that the Secretary of each registered trade union shall furnish to the Director General a copy of all alterations or amendments of rules, new rules, and a list of change officers made by the union during of 12 months proceeding, 31st day of March, and a copy of the rules of the trade union in force and particulars of its membership on that day. The video also explains if failed to comply the regulations can lead the union being deregistered by the department. This also relates under Section 56 in Malaysian Director General of Trade Union, where any secretary of registered trade union who fails to comply with any of the requirements of this section shall be guilty of an offence and on conviction before a magistrate, and be liable to a fine not exceeding 100 ringgit Malaysia for each day during which the default continues.
As compared to Malaysia, in order to avoid that kind of issue based on the YouTube video, there is Section 57 subsection 1 that obliges all trade unions should keep book account and other records. To having book account and other record is very important to avoid from breach of power and misuse of fund. When every registered trade union have proper book account and other record, it can help the trade union to track every single penny of money in the trade union is used for what purpose. The consequences when did not have any book account and record is can demolishing the trade union and member of trade union be quarreling with each other because of money. Trade union should be an organization that protect right of employee and employer and not an organization for people to quarreling each other. Also, Malaysia has Section 57 subsection 3 which all the book account must be audited by auditor that approved by the Director General and can be viewed by member of trade union. This is good act because it can has transparency regarding the account. There will be no hidden amount of money or transaction happen. This video show that they had issue on the account. The book account must be audited to ensure all the record that have been written in the book account is right and follow the regulation that has been set. When audit the book account, it can help trade union to allocate budget for any activities to member and people. Hence, everyone will get benefit when the trade union have proper book account and records. Also, do audit for their book account.
In conclusion, in order to prevent the misuse of union funds or other risks in the country, it is very crucial for each trade unions to follow all the stated acts as stated in the Trade Union Act 1959. Furthermore, the GTU also must always monitor the trade union's activities in terms of finance and make sure it is in accordance with the law. It is also to prevent the unions taking for granted the benefits of being a registered trade union. That's all from us. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.